Welcome to This Week in Magic for May 24th, 2019. I am your host, Cinder Shadow, and this week has seen not too craziness, but we've seen a lot of spoilers for Modern Horizons, and a lot of people are starting to call it Commander Horizons or the Jank set. There's quite a bit of knowledge behind it. Apparently, lots of stuff has been discussed, and the spoilers we've seen so far brings back mechanics from 40 different mechanics throughout Magic's history. It's anywhere in modern history up to Dragons of Takir block, also including the return of snow-covered lands. So it's a set on to be its own. We have to wait to see how it's going to turn out for the rest. First talk is for Modern Horizons. I found this article that was posted on the Daily MTG from May 20th, 2019 by Mark Rosewater. I've read a bunch of this. This is a very long article, so I'm going to just kind of skip through a lot of it. A number of years ago, we needed to come up with an idea for the 2019 innovation product. Past years have been things like the Unsets, Conspiracy, Battle Bond, Plane Chase, and Arch Enemy. Both the Commander decks and the Master sets started as innovation products. To come up with an idea, Mark Globius, which was part of their designer thing that they did, suggested something a little unorthodox. What if R&D took a week off to work on a series of pitches? Each person would be assigned to one team, and then at the end of the week, that team would produce a playable prototype. It was called Hackathon. Hackathon? Like, you're basing Modern Horizons off computer hacking. Like, that just screams like a world of not good stuff. So, people are, like I said at the beginning there, people are starting to call it the Commander Horizons or Modern Commander, whatever you want to call it. It just seems like a ton of jank is in this set, and now we know why. It's because they didn't limit themselves to any one particular mechanic or 4 mechanics or whatever. I'm just going to scroll down here, because a lot of this is people behind the team, which we know most of the people there. Okay, on to Rosewater's statement here. This October will mark his 24th year working on Magic, and Modern Horizons was something like my 70th design team. You tend to lose count somewhere in the 30s. Modern Horizons was a blast to design. Metaphorically, it's as if I'm used to driving 55 miles an hour on a freeway, and then one day I get to the Autobahn and I'm told I can go as fast as I want. The freedom of Modern Horizons design was exhilarating. It also cool to say I'm going to use this mechanic, and this mechanic, and this mechanic. If it's not clear, we had a lot of fun working on Modern Horizons. So, the Vision team was set. It was Globius, Ethan, co-leading Ali, Mike, and Mark. Before we could design cards, though, we had to figure out a couple things. So this is the rules they used to build Modern Horizons. What parameters did they set? We had a lot more freedom than normal. We still had to figure out what was the bounds and what was out of bounds. So where the boundaries were they drawing the line? Here's the main rule that they came up with. Every card had to be appropriate for the rarity it was designed for. What that meant was if we made a common card with a mechanic, for example, it had to feel like a common card in the set that had that mechanic. The one difference with this set, though, was we weren't limiting ourselves to normal standard legal number of mechanics, so basically if you looked at any one random card from the set, In a vacuum, it would seem like any normal Magic set. It's only when you looked at a bunch that you realize we weren't following the usual norms. The second rule that they had was, what mechanics would we use? As explained above, we are free to use any mechanics in Modern up to Dragons of Tarkir. This is, what? Like, you're going 2008 to, what is it, 2015, 2016? We did talk about introducing older mechanics to Modern, but when we went back and looked, there wasn't that much lost by sticking with this rule. It made playtesting much easier. It was very big on experimenting with mix and match cards, that is, cards that use two different mechanics, usually ones that weren't in the same set. But I believe only 3 made it to the finished product, as they were pretty wordy. Well, yeah, we've seen complete Bibles on some of these cards already. How were we interacting with Modern? Mike ended up being the point person for this. We were free to design whatever we wanted, and then we looked and took it to Mike to review. Mike was allowed to veto it if it was going to clearly cause problems in Modern, and could tweak its power level, which is what he did most often. Or he could accept it as is. Mike, in turn, would make suggestions for things that Modern needed, which we would then design too. Of the cards that ended up Modern relevant, some came from each style of design. Number 4. What were the lessons of Time Spiral? Obviously, the inspiration of Modern Horizons was Time Spiral block. That meant we were spending a little time trying to figure out what that block had taught us. The biggest lesson was that we wanted to use cards, to use nostalgia in a way that enhanced the design, but didn't make someone who didn't know the reference field lost. So this set really is for the player that knows Modern, that everyone... It's not really for the new players. That's what Arena's for right now. That's what Standard's for. But this isn't. I think this is a complete miss. I think they should always be looking at new players, not the ones that are already there. And, you know, trying to do something with the newer sets that will tie the older players and keep them around. This was similar to how they did Dominaria. The one difference was that we weren't as bound by setting or complexity, which allowed us to make cards we never could have made in Dominaria. What were the mechanical themes of the set? This was the biggest challenge of the Vision design team. Everyone was on board with us making a high complexity supplemental product, but it still needed some cohesion to it. We didn't just want a collection of random cards, well, that's what it's starting to feel like, but things that felt connected and encouraged interesting limited gameplay. So this set has been designed for limited, not just Modern, and I think that's where the problem is. You're looking at a set that's meant for Modern, but you're still trying to create a limited format out of it. It's very overpowered and underpowered at the same time. This is going to be the major topic of next week's article, is limited gameplay of Modern Horizons. Yay. Before I go, I want to show off my preview card. Walking through blah 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 blah. So, flashback to Lorwyn, 2001. What? So, Mistform Ultimus is every creature type, so it's an illusion, yet it's a shapeshifter. Became Changeling, this is every creature type, and that ended up being the glue that made Lorwyn Limited work. Just like Lorwyn, Changeling could be glue, held Modern Horizons together. So they're trying to use the Changelings as a way to cohere this together. So bears, we've seen a bunch of stuff, tribalism with bears, goblins, and such. So they're trying to just catch it with all of it. And this is also where they came up with Morophon the Boundless. Looks like an Eldrazi, but it's a changeling. It's a 6/6 for 7. Legendary creature. It enters the battlefield. You choose a creature type. Spells of the chosen type can be casted. Spells of the chosen type you cast cost one of each color less to cast. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. Other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. Interesting. This card came about because my list of players once included a giant number of essential... Oh my god, I'm not even going to finish reading that. That's just... Yeah. The 1/1 ability has been there since the first iteration because what creatures don't enjoy is getting bigger. What? Because what creatures don't enjoy getting bigger? I'm guessing that's supposed to be the way the question is. I hope the tribal commander players have fun with it. So this is another take that they really looked at commander players more so for the set than modern players and a limited environment. Like, pick one thing and stick to it. So the biggest thing that I have found with Modern Horizons is they're using over 40 mechanics throughout the entire set. We're seeing Storm, the level up system, we're seeing a new Planeswalker at 2 mana, which is absolutely insane, and it's actually better than the 3 mana Tibble that has been in iteration for a long time. Other stuff that came up this week, we have the May 20th, 2019 Ban and Restricted announcement. Announcement date was May 20th, effective date is May 24th. From Pauper, we have Gush, which is a 1 blue and 4 generic. Instant, you may return 2 islands you control to their owner's hand, rather than pay Gush's mana cost. Draw 2 cards. And then we have Galaxian Probe, which is either one blue or 2 life, with the silliness of that mana. Look at target's player's hand and draw a card for a sorcery. And Daze. And why do they have the Amoket one that can barely be read? 1 blue and 1 generic. It's an instant. You may return an island you control to its owner's hand rather than pay the mana cost. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. So there was some interaction in Pauper. I don't play Pauper unless it's in Arena right now. And otherwise, they didn't ban anything else. However, I do want to bring up, it was at the bottom of this part, no changes in other formats, but they are aware of concern about combos in Modern based around War of the Spark cards, such as Neoform with Allosaurus Rider, Ugin's Conjurant and Celestial Corinne, and that one, you may play Spirit or Arcane spell, destroy all permanents with that spell's converted mana costs. Whenever you play a Spirit or Arcane. So, Ugin's Conjurant, because it's X, it's whatever you're casting it for. And then the other one, of course, is Karn, the Great Creator, and Mycosynth Lattice, which I believe in War of the Spark they did address this with some cards that will interrupt this, because I think it's in the green. There's you can discard a green card on your opponent's turn and destroy target artifact or enchantment. So that'll also deal with Blood Moon, Mycosynth Lattice, and the such as a free cast. So it should effectively nix this sort of combo, hopefully. So they're monitoring the play rates and win rates of the decks, and with the release of Modern Horizons and Mythic Championship 4 right around the corner, we continue to observe the evolution of the modern metagame. There was no other competitive formats looking healthy. I just see there's something up here for the London Mulligan. They will continue to research and debate whether the London Mulligan is the right change for Magic formats. If we do move forward with the London Mulligan, our approach will be to observe changes in each format's metagame first, rather than making predictive and precautionary changes to the banned and restricted lists. So if they do the London Mulligan, if they go ahead with that format, that means you're going to see emergency bans a week later. So we'll see what comes of that if they continue going forward with it. And from the sounds of it, they're going to push forward, but they're going to tread in there. So for those people that still play MTGO and haven't made the switch to Arena, good news, they came out with some promotional codes for the unstable lands on MTGO. I have them on screen here. For planes, you put in Angel Realm 2019. For an island, it's Fish Tank 2019. The swamp is Zombie Bog 2019. The mountain is Goblin Warren 2019. And the forest is Elf Haven 2019. So, congratulations if you do still play MTGO. They brought you some unstable lands. These would be nice to be brought to Arena also. Hint, hint. Come on, Wizards, get on it. We would love these lands in there. People would probably pay for the skins of these. Speaking of Arena, there's been a bunch of changes with Arena. They've now brought in the stained glass art. Playing Mormir is a great way to get... It's 3 of the stained glass cards. It's Tibble. I don't even remember what they all are. Let's take a look here really quick because I know I already got them. So far... click off that. Come on. Is there a... Oh, Jace was one of them, which is great. It is nice to see that. I know Tibble was another one, and I know Arlen you can get with the code. And there's Tibble. That's what he looks like, which is quite nice to see these in Arena. I know a lot of people were wanting them. There's the Arlen. Arlen is done with Over the Moon code in MTG Arena. It's capital O, capital T, and capital M for that code. So it's Over the Moon to unlock Arlen. That's another one of the free ones that they give you. And... trying to remember. Oh, it was Vraska was the first one that I got there. And so that's what you get this week with Mormir. Now, Mormir is a little bit different this time around. It is a series of randomness, but you also get to play with one of every copy of the 36 Planeswalkers in War of the Spark. So it's kind of unique in that sense. However, there are certain things you need to be aware of. Cards like Karn. Use it as a discard card. Do not put it into play. Do not try to get a artifact from it. It will not work. Because you don't have a sideboard, they will not allow you just to go into your cards and pick out an artifact to bring into the game. Saheeli is another one. Her ability is mostly useless. I say mostly because you can get artifact creatures, and with Saheeli you could copy that artifact creature into one of your other creatures that are on the board. So the chances of that happening are probably less than 5%. So I would also use Saheeli to use as a discard. Another one too is Vivien. Yes, it gives your creatures flash. You're not casting creatures, so you don't have flash. It does give vigilance and reach for one creature. Ultimately, that's not going to be that big of an issue. The randomness of the game, giving one creature vigilance and reach for one turn is not going to win you the game. You're probably going to fail. So I would use her as another discard card. Cards that are completely overpowered in this format. One being Nissa. If you have a Nissa, try to play her. Plain and simple, try and play her. She will win you the game. And the other one is Sarkhan. Sarkhan is so good in this format that if you've casted even one other Planeswalker and making them dragons and attacking, they're going to destroy things. Any cards that actually make tokens are really good in this format, like Kazmina and Veraska and Arlen. All of those make tokens, so they're very well done. You can put it down, get a token out of it, instead of worrying about trying to get another creature. You actually control a little bit more, and it takes away the randomness so much. Teferi is very overpowered again. He bounces creatures, and because he bounces a creature, it just disappears. So even if they get the 16/16 indestructible, Teferi does get rid of it. The Wanderer is another one getting rid of anything power 4 or greater, and so is Kaya. Now, note though, Kaya and Nika Bolas and Jace would be the third. Those three cards, they're a toss-up. If you end up with the mana to cast them, great. If you're short the mana, ditch it. Get rid of it. Don't hang on to it. It's going to be better to continue pushing along. If you get the mana later and you wish to hold on to it, it's not that big of a deal. You can still just move on from that. Also, because there is no money for this event and you just want to get to your 15 wins, if you know the game is lost and done, just concede and move on to the next game. It's going to make things a lot easier in the long run. The other stuff for Arena, there's also the new card styles, which a bunch of these are the stained glass ones. I really wish they would give all of these a gold value and not just gems, because to me, gems is a shortcut to get this stuff, where gold is something that you work towards. Yes, they made it possible to get gems, but it takes quite a bit to get these gems. So hopefully these stained glass will be around for quite a while so people can collect them. There is a few, like Darvel and Yang Yao, you can get with gold. I wish it was more. It's just unfortunate that they are doing that. The other thing that I do want to pay attention to is sleeves. They did talk a while back that they would be bringing in the Japanese alt art for some of the sleeves, and the ones that they picked, I wish could have been a little bit better. You've got Tamiyo, Kaya, Jace, I said Kaya, why can't I think of her name? Narset, and Kiora. And they've also added in Sarah from Modern Horizons. I believe the Sarah sleeves are very nice. They're very beautiful. I've seen some people play them. It shimmers when you go over top of them. So there's that. I just wish they would bring in all of the alternate art sleeves. Then people could pick the ones that they want. And yes, they're cosmetics, so this is stuff you do not need. So it's something you can easily save up for, or if you have a little bit of money that you want to drop in the game, you can do it that way as well. Well, anyway, guys, that was This Week in Magic. I guess I should reiterate they've also added a basic LAN filter, finally, in MTG Arena. If you want to play around with that, you just simply go into the tabs there, and there's a basic LAN option next to the uncommon, common, rare, and mythic slots. So you can easily bring up those. If you still are having questionable stuff with the shuffler, you can easily do some playtesting if you put in one of each land in your deck from each different style, because they each have their own unique coded number in the random number generator, and you'll get a better sense of how things are working within your system. I've heard things now and again that the random generation and the shuffler, there's something buggy with it. How it's proven, there's been people that have done over 1 million games. I don't know how they're proving it, if it is or it isn't. It all depends on how you interpret the data those people have gotten. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this week. Hope you guys have a great FNM and a great weekend, and we'll see you on the live stream later today. Have a good night, and good luck.